Hello everybody and welcome back to SFF180. Thomas here, your host as always, and it is Mailbag Monday for the 24th of August. Wow. A decent little stack here, about half a dozen packages, so we'll get through these fairly efficiently. The only announcements are that I hope you managed to catch the live show that we did for the BookTube SFF read-alongs, where we were talking about the August read-alongs that we were doing over at Nicole's channel. So go and check that out if you haven't seen those. And yeah, how about those Hugos, huh? Very interesting. I was thinking about doing sort of a post-mortem video on it all, but at this point I thought to myself, why even bother? Fandom did what it needed to do. The sad puppies, the rabid puppies, they're still out there trying to fight a war of their own creation against an enemy living in their own imaginations. They want to keep that battle going despite losing it decisively on Saturday. That's fine for them. But I think the rest of us want to just get on with science fiction and fantasy, with moving the genre forward. And I will say this though, the votes this year were the highest number of people voted in Hugo history by a massive margin, like 65% more people got supporting memberships in order to vote. And if all of those people next year participate in the nominating process, then we won't even have to worry about those kinds of shenanigans next year at all. Just nominate what you loved to read this year the most. Don't let anyone feed you a slate and tell you, here's a group of enemies that we're at war with, and this is how you need to vote to defeat those enemies. That's not what it's about. It's never been what it should be about. Just vote the books that you're passionate for. Nominate those. And next year, we'll have another great award season. And so, speaking of books to be passionate about, let's hope we have some in this week's stack, shall we? Let's get into the books and see what we've got. Going to start with what appears to be a Tor title. And it is. This is a book that I've actually really been looking forward to. A bit smaller than I was anticipating. For some reason I had this idea in my head that this was going to be some massive thick tome. But Dragonheart by Cecilia Holland is actually a pretty modestly sized little book. Comes out on the 1st of September. Cecilia Holland is mostly known as a historical novelist, although she has a pretty good pedigree in SF. She wrote a book back in the 1970s, I think, Floating Worlds, SF novel that I think was very much admired at the time. And she is back in fantasy. It says, where the Cape of the Winds juts into the endless sea, there is Castle Ocean, and therein dwells the royal family that has ruled it from time immemorial. But there is an empire growing in the east, and its forces have reached the castle. King Reymaro is dead in battle, and by the new treaty, Queen Mariosa must marry one of the emperor's brothers. She loathes the idea and has already killed the first brother, but a second arrives escorted by more soldiers. Well then. While Mariosa delays, her youngest son, Gian, goes on a journey in search of his mute twin, Tirza, who needs to be present for the wedding. As Gian and Tirza return by sea, their ship is attacked by a shocking and powerful dragon, red as blood and as big as this ship. Thrown into the water, Tirza clings to the dragon, and after an underwater journey finds herself alone with the creature in an inland sea pool. Surprisingly, she's able to talk to the beast and understand it. So begins a saga of violence, destruction, and death, of love and monsters, human and otherwise, based on the Locus Award-nominated short story Dragon's Deep. The mute Princess Tirza proves a complex and moving protagonist in this fascinating new read. Okay then, Dragonheart, it's a girl and her dragon story. It comes out September 1st from Cecilia Holland by Tor. And here is something from Random Penguin. And this is Chapelwood by Cheri Priest. This is the second book in her series, The Borden Dispatches. Last year, Cheri Priest made a triumphant return to her Gothic roots with Maplecroft, the first novel in the Borden Dispatches duology. Okay. A highly original and daring take on the story of Lizzie Borden. The novel recasts the infamous Lizzie not as a murderer, but as a hero struggling to save the world from a Lovecraftian evil lurking off the shores of Massachusetts. The novel's unique premise and controversial heroine instantly drew in readers and reviewers alike, earned Priest a PKD Award nomination, and so the sequel comes out on the 1st of September. A standalone sequel takes Lizzie Borden from her historical roots in New England to the Deep South on a mission to rid the world of another unspeakable evil. Insert name of Republican presidential candidate here. And she's got her trusty axe in tow. Now, prejudice and hatred have consumed the citizens of Birmingham, Alabama. From within the walls of the Chapelwood Church, a sect is worshipping dark gods. The parishioners are calling for a sacrifice, the death of a young woman that will herald the arrival of creatures never meant to share reality with humanity. It will be up to Lizzie to stop them, or an apocalypse will come, scorching the earth of all life. So Chapelwood by Cheri Priest comes out the 1st of September. And another random penguin package. This is a thick one. And this is one I've already gotten in ARC form. This is the latest in SM Sterling's ongoing series called The Change, and this is the second book in a new story arc that began with The Golden Princess. It says it features a new generation of people who find themselves forced to adapt to a world without technology after a mysterious event known as The Change eradicated most of the human race. So this has been ongoing now. We're probably, a dozen or so books in, over varying story arcs that exist as, like, from trilogy to trilogy to trilogy. I think that's how it goes. But it says, 2 rulers of this world risk their lives seeking the fabled Kusanagi no Tsurugi, a legendary sword of an ancient dynasty that confers valor and victory to its bearer. But the renowned sword lies deep within the Valley of Death, and the search will not be easy. Sounds like it's moving more and more towards fantasy as we, get on in the timeline from the post-apocalyptic origins here. But if you're a fan, The Desert and the Blade comes out. Once again, I bet it's the 1st, because that seems to be, yep, September 1st from Rock. And what is this? Another random penguin package. Okay, then. Well, look at this. The nice folks at Broadway Books have sent me a little stack of Doctor Who titles here. Again, I don't really tend to focus very much on media tie-in fiction, but I know a lot of people are big fans. I love the show. So we've got 3 books here. We have, Doctor Who Deep Time by Trevor Baxendale, Big Bang Generation by Gary Russell, and Royal Blood by Una McCormick. Let's see, it says these all come out on the 8th of September. As the premiere of the new season approaches this fall, Broadway Books is thrilled to add 3 original Doctor Who tie-in novels to our series. They all feature the 12th Doctor as he protects the human race from the unfathomable evils of the universe, and so on and so forth. And they were penned in collaboration with the BBC Wales production team. All right then, so, Whovians, here you go. 3 new books to tie in to the new season coming up soon. And here's another one from Random Penguin. They're getting this one to me a little bit late, but it is finally out. Rock Books, it's the new novel by Elliot de Bedard, The House of Shattered Wings. I picked up an ARC for this, actually, when I went to the Nebula Awards ceremony in Chicago in June. But this is the finished copy, as you see. Always very nice to have one of those for the permanent library. It's the first novel, it says, in a new series from multi-award-winning author Elliot de Bedard. The novel features a diverse cast of characters in an exquisitely grim setting that entwines Eastern and Western folklore. In The House of Shattered Wings, de Bedard transports readers to an alternate Paris, where a magical great war has left the city in ruins. Run by fallen angels, the devastated city is a maze of danger. Thieves search the alleys for angel essence, magic acquired from the dismembered limbs of the fallen, to sell to humans addicted to the powerful drug. In the late 20th century, the streets of Paris are lined with haunted ruins. The grand magazines have been reduced to piles of debris, and Notre Dame is a burnt-out shell, and the Seine has turned black with ashes and rubble. But those that survived still retain their irrepressible appetite for novelty and distraction, and the great houses still vie for dominion. Once the most powerful and formidable, House Silver Spires, there we go, now lies in disarray. Its magic is ailing, and now something from the shadows stalks its people inside their very own walls. It will be up to 3 people, a naive but powerful fallen angel, an alchemist with self-destructive addiction, and a resentful young man wielding spells of unknown origin to be House Silver Spire's salvation. For if Silver Spires falls, so does Paris itself. House of Shattered Wings, out now from Elliot de Bedard. And this final one is from Prometheus Books, a Pyre title. And this is the finished copy of Supersymmetry, a novel by David Walton, science fiction novel, sequel to a book called Superposition. So I don't want to, again, do too much by way of spoilering the whole thing by reading the sell sheet here in too much detail. But this comes out September the 1st. Ryan Oronzi is a paranoid, neurotic, and brilliant physicist who has developed a quantum military technology that can make soldiers nearly invincible in the field. The technology, however, gives power to the quantum creature known as the Varkalak, which slowly begins to manipulate Dr. Oronzi and take over his mind. Oronzi eventually becomes the unwilling pawn of the Varkalak in its bid to control the world. Last year from Tor, David Walton released a fantasy novel. It was called Quintessence, and it was amazingly brilliant and virtually ignored. But I'm glad that he's able to come back from Pyre with some new novels, and so yeah, I've been meaning to read some of these, and now it's time to get off my butt and maybe try to get them into the review queue. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments, okay? And that is it. That's all we got going on this week in the mailbag. Pretty decent haul. You guys know the drill. As always, light up the comments. Let me know which of these books looks most exciting to you, which you would like to see me prioritize in the review queue. Otherwise, if you enjoyed watching, please leave a like, share this video far and wide with your SFF reading friends, and above all, please subscribe. That is how SFF180 grows as a channel. And until I see all of you next time, happy reading.